Hi and welcome to this overview module of NetApp ONTAP clustering. This module gives a high-level overview of what makes an ONTAP cluster. We'll discuss possible cluster configurations, and by that I mean how are the nodes interconnected and how many can there be in one single cluster. We'll also look at networking. What are the different network types that you run into when you manage your ONTAP cluster? We'll deal with physical and logical storage. And finally, we cover the available data protocols that NetApp offers. If at any time during this overview you get confused, please don't be, because the different topics are covered one by one in the other modules in this course. Now let's first have a look at the possible configurations. A NetApp controller or system is usually referred to as a node, and the node runs the ONTAP operating system. A cluster can be as small as one single node, and such a node has one or more disk shelves to store client data. This is what we call a single node cluster. Obviously, a single node cluster is not something you would run if you need access to your data at all times. If it is not a problem that you don't have access to your data during a software upgrade or because of other outage of the node, then you can run a single node cluster. Think of a backup solution that doesn't have to be up 24/7. You can scale out a single node cluster by adding a second node. This will then form an HA pair. Both nodes in an HA pair are physically cabled to the same disk shelves. An HA pair offers high availability at the node level. So if for whatever reason a node is temporarily unavailable, the partner node in the HA pair will take over the disks of the other node. The nodes of an HA pair are interconnected by an HA interconnect, which you see as the red line in this picture. The HA interconnect is primarily used to copy the data from one partner node to the other partner node to make sure that if one node fails, the other node can still write the data to disk. The nodes use something which is called non-volatile RAM or NVRAM to store each other's data until it gets written to disk. The other important line is the purple line. This line represents a private network via which the cluster configuration is replicated from one node to all other nodes in the cluster. So in a single HA pair, this obviously means that the configuration will traverse this cluster interconnect network from one node to the other node and vice versa. So this is a very important network, which of course is set up in a redundant way. Also, this network is never directly accessed by clients. So it's a private network. And finally, you can scale out a single HA pair to multiple HA pairs. So you can add more HA pairs to the same cluster. The maximum number of nodes in one single cluster is 24. So in other words, 12 HA pairs. As you can see in the drawing, each HA pair has its own HA interconnect, and all HA pairs together are interconnected via the cluster interconnect network. So to summarize, a cluster can be as small as one single node, the absolute maximum is 24 nodes, and each HA pair has its own HA interconnect, which is used for NVRAM mirroring, and both partners in the same HA pair can take over each other's disks. The cluster configuration and management traffic traverses a redundant network which is called the cluster interconnect. Now I hope you're still with me, and if you like, we can continue to the networking overview.